You are on the Titanic. April 14th, 1912, the largest, most luxurious ship ever built. Unsinkable, or so everyone said. The food is incredible, the ballroom is packed, and somewhere in the distance there is a very large iceberg with your name on it. You think you would survive, don't you? You have watched the movie. You know what happens. You are smart, resourceful. You have a phone. Oh, wait, no you don't. It's 1912. Here is the honest, slightly uncomfortable truth. You almost certainly would not make it, and not for the reasons you think. First question, what class is your ticket? Because that one piece of paper determined almost everything about whether you lived or died. First-class passengers had a 62% survival rate. Third class had 25%. Now, be honest with yourself. You are booking a last-minute transatlantic voyage in 1912. Are you really in first class? Are you in a suite with a private promenade and a personal butler? Or are you in third class, in a bunk bed below the waterline, behind a series of gates, in a part of the ship you have never seen in any movie because they did not film much down there? Here's what nobody tells you about third class on the Titanic. The gates were real. Third-class passengers were physically separated from upper decks by locked gates, partly for immigration processing reasons, partly because that is simply how class worked in 1912. When the ship hit the iceberg at 11:40 at night, third-class passengers had to find their way through a maze of corridors, up multiple stairwells, past those gates to the boat deck, in the dark, in a ship that was already tilting, with no map and announcements in a language many of them did not speak. Even if you make it to the boat deck, congratulations, impressive corridor navigation, you now face the lifeboat problem. The Titanic carried 20 lifeboats, enough for 1,178 people. There were 2,224 people on board. And here's the part that will make you put down whatever you were eating. The lifeboats were not even filled properly. Lifeboat number 1, capable of holding 40 people, was launched with 12 people in it. 12! One of those 12 was a millionaire named Sir Cosmo Duff Gordon, who reportedly paid the crew to row away from the drowning passengers. In total, the lifeboats left carrying only about 60% of their capacity. If they had been properly filled, several hundred more people would have survived. So, you have made it through the corridors, past the gates, and you are now on the boat deck at midnight in April in the North Atlantic. It is -1 degree Celsius. You're in your night clothes because the ship hit the iceberg while most people were asleep, and you need to make a decision most people got completely wrong. For the first hour after the collision, most passengers did not want to get into the lifeboats, and honestly, that is understandable. The Titanic was huge, it was warm, it was lit, the lights stayed on until almost the very end. The band was playing, the ocean was black and freezing, and the lifeboats looked very small and very far down. So people waited. Many of the early lifeboats launched half-empty because passengers refused to leave. The ones who overcame that instinct, who got into the cold, swinging lifeboat early, even when it felt unnecessary, lived. The ones who waited for more certainty waited too long. The ship sank in 2 hours and 40 minutes. By the time it was obvious to everyone that it was going down, most of the lifeboats were already gone. And even if you were in a lifeboat, the water temperature was -2 degrees Celsius. Anyone in the water had between 15 and 45 minutes before hypothermia made survival impossible. 1,517 people died that night, most of them not from drowning, from cold. So let's be honest about your chances. You are probably in third class. That's a 25% survival rate before anything else. You probably woke up confused, in the dark, in an unfamiliar ship with no signal and no smartphone map, and were asked to navigate corridors you had never seen while wearing your anchor pajamas. You would have had to get lucky with a lifeboat spot, lucky with timing, lucky which crew members you encountered, Lucky that you did not freeze before a rescue ship arrived, and the Carpathia, the nearest ship, took 1 hour and 40 minutes to reach the Titanic's location after receiving the distress signal. The people who survived were not necessarily braver or smarter. Many were simply in the right place at the right time, or made one good decision in a moment of complete chaos when most information was wrong. The Titanic was not a test of survival instincts. It was a test of luck, location, class, and the 30 seconds in which you decided to get into that lifeboat before it filled up. 710 people passed that test. 1,517 did not. The good news is you will never have to find out. The slightly less good news is that the Titanic sank because the people in charge were moving too fast, cutting corners on safety, and genuinely believed their ship could not fail, which is a lesson that, unfortunately, did not require 1912 to learn.